If you understand money and banking much better than child and teen development, then this infographic is for you. I borrow concepts from banking and economics to explain what exactly classroom learning should produce. So just for now, stop putting a price on everything. This is not the economics of education. This infographic uses a banking model of classroom learning, and trust will be our currency. I am Devon Wolfe of WolfeWisdom.ca, and my posts are all about emotional development of children and teens. I teach an emotion-focused approach for schools, which is highly valuable for parents too, and I use colorful visual infographics like this one to explain the dynamic processes of emotional development. So here is the banking model of classroom learning, and it poses two questions. First, ask yourself, what exactly should classroom teaching and learning produce? And if you answered classrooms should produce learners, thinkers, and good workers, then I say this is a very low bar, which is easily met by homeschooling. Yet children and teens deposit years of time and effort in formal learning settings, so classrooms should produce something more. Classrooms of today should produce agents of learning, and these are kids who are invested in their own learning as a result of being authentically themselves, following their own interests, and being energized by participating. After all, like education philosopher Nell Nodding says, it's inescapable that kids will learn what pleases them. They don't necessarily learn what schools believe to be foundational curriculum. No, kids learn whatever truly catches their interest. And this is why good teachers are innovative and passionate about their work, and why best practice sets a low bar. Consider that trust is the currency of exchange in a wonderful classroom. Trust is the investment environment that teachers and schools can create so students accrue learning capital. Learning capital is good, but wealth assets are more than learning and achievement. Wealth assets grow from learning capital when kids are willing to use their learning, right? Kids can apply basic math to robotics, but are they also willing to tackle advanced math? When kids can manage art materials or carry a tune when they sing, are they also willing to explore the deeper messages in art making or accept the challenge of learning to play a musical instrument? When kids can read, are they also willing to read and use reading as a learning tool? This is what agents of learning do. Agents of their own learning have self-initiative to take on challenging projects, use their patience and compromise for difficult problem solving, and use creativity to arrive at innovative new ways based on more time spent learning from experts, maybe coaches and mentors. In fact, as this child or teen demonstrates their strong interests, skills, and aptitudes over time, a unique individual will emerge, and then the entire family accrues trust in their child's uniqueness and decides that investing in this kid's emerging talents and abilities is a low-risk venture. Their child or teen has advanced opportunities to explore theater arts, maybe join science teams or launch social justice projects, plus set goals for post-secondary learning and preparation for a work career. So families are actually the stakeholders. Families accrue trust in their child's uniqueness, and if this child is an agent of their own learning, then their learning capital creates wealth assets in whatever they can do and are willing to do. Okay, you might say, I can develop my own child's agency as a learner right here at home. But examine this second question. How does the classroom environment add value? Value is added by teachers who become agents of development. Agents of development use relational capital to continually get better at their own work of developing the emotional capacity of their students. Teachers accumulate trust in themselves and for themselves from others. When teachers can influence students to manage big emotions and cope with life's frustrations, all while navigating the challenges of everyday relationships at school. Agents of development use relational capital because they are acutely aware of the wealth asset of emotional development, crucial to student and teacher mental health and foundational to a wonderful classroom environment. While parents are busy in their own work careers, I hope children and teens are busy becoming agents of their own learning. Value is truly added by classroom environments when teachers are helping kids grow up, because teachers are agents of emotional development. So I see teachers as stockholders, advertising their value, the value of their own emotion-focused practices, hopefully mentoring colleagues too, and partnering with parents so everyone is on the same page, promoting trust in everyday mental health support for children and teens. The high bar of emotional development is set when everyone associated with the school is responsible to advance trust in little ways based on the concept of reciprocity. So I pay my authentic, earnest respect to you, and you also pay that to me. When adults use micro-compassion in their tone of voice, facial expressions, demonstrations of understanding and compassion, they pay dividends on more trust. And this is how the dignity of every child or teen is acknowledged many times every day. Trust impacts the whole school culture, so caregiving becomes highly valued, certainly among teens in the same classroom, but more broadly in the school, when older students freely give their caring attention to younger kids. And when colleagues share their emotion-focused practices, right? It all comes together. When we grow up in schools, we can trust because the teachers are invested in student mental health and collaborate closely with colleagues on relational practices. Then caregiving earns elevated status in our society. But unfortunately, even teachers can be narrow-minded. I read a tweet this month by a teacher who is clearly not an agent of development. The tweet stated, "I am not responsible for my students' love of reading. My job is to teach them how to read." Wow, I consider this to be stingy banking because although the learning resources may be present in this teacher's students so they can do well and hopefully they can read, there is no wealth asset in what the students are willing to do. Are they willing to read? What are they willing to read? What would they freely choose to read? Are these students willing to use reading as a learning tool? This tweet captures the essence of a question by the former finance minister of Canada, Mark Carney, who asks, does the narrowness of our vision, the poverty of our perspective, mean we undervalue what matters to our collective well-being? Our collective well-being in a classroom relies on teachers and kids' willingness to learn together. A narrow vision cannot see how priceless a passion for learning is over a lifetime, as everyone struggles to adapt to a changing world. Emotional development is more about agency for learning than achievement in learning. And the way I see it, families are the stakeholders. Teachers and other staff are the stockholders. Clearly, teachers are human and can get overwhelmed, yet teaching is actually easier when teachers become agents of development, because then kids become willing learners and resilient classmates. Again, from Mark Carney, he says, for too long, we undervalued resilience and have been forced to pay the heaviest costs. In classroom learning terms, yes, there are heavy costs in graduating young adults who are not resilient enough, if they are not agents of their own learning and if they're not emotionally developed. We all know of high achievers who were never truly challenged in their 12 years in school, so they failed in post-secondary programs or dropped out. And there are low achievers, but also kids getting passing marks today who don't get the emotional support they need to cope and thrive. There are merely two ways, these are merely two ways that schools undervalue emotional dynamics. And my conclusion in this part one is that agents of learning and agents of emotional development are valuable products of classroom teaching and learning that we should be able to bank on.